Here are 5 things you need to know before moving to Camden County, Georgia. That includes Kingsland, St. Marys, Woodbine, Waverly, and the Kings Bay Military Base. Hi, I'm Sadie, your Florida Georgia guide for all things real estate and lifestyle here on the Florida Georgia line. Today we're talking about Camden County, Georgia. I actually live in Camden County, Georgia now. I want to tell you all the things that I wish I knew before moving to Camden County, Georgia, and the things that can help you kind of have a step forward before you move here. The first thing I want to talk about is location. So you have the Florida Georgia line, and when you're coming from Florida and you're driving into Georgia, the first city you're going to drive into is St. Marys. So what that does is you are super close to the Florida Georgia line, making it super accessible for you to work in Florida if you need to, in Northeast Florida. I actually work in Northeast Florida also. I have my Florida and Georgia license, and I'm actually born and raised in Northeast Florida, Jacksonville. So it's very helpful for me to be able to visit my friends, go to my favorite restaurants, and it's only about a 45-minute drive depending. And honestly, it's a straight shot down 95. 95 is super accessible to hop onto, both in Kingsland and St. Marys. So honestly, if you are wanting to also work in Jacksonville, St. Marys is a great place for you to live in, as well as Kingsland. Woodbine and Waverly are about 30 minutes to 45 minutes north of us. So you do get a little bit of more of a super secluded area there. But if you're looking for tons of acreage, lots of land, that homestead feel, Waverly and Woodbine are something that you should look into and consider. However, if you're looking for more of that suburban feel that's easily accessible to multiple different areas, I highly suggest that you keep looking into Kingsland and St. Marys, Georgia. So super accessible to 95. It's also really close and right next door to Kings Bay Military Base. So if you are military PCSing to the Kings Bay, Camden County area, you want to look into Kingsland and St. Marys, Georgia, because it's only like a 5 to 10 to 15 minute drive, depending on how deep you're going into Kingsland. St. Marys is like a hop, skip, and a jump right next to the base. So you definitely want to look into St. Marys. But if you're looking for a little bit of outskirts, tiny bit, I would definitely look into Kingsland. St. Marys has a downtown area that is super adorable, small town vibes, and they have really good restaurants and bars. So they're working on creating more, obviously. So it's October 2025 right now. They are working on some really cool restaurants that are coming soon. And from what I hear, I am newer within the last year to this area, but it has completely blown up within the last few years also. So you have big restaurants like Firefly, which is a taco place. It has the most adorable outside area. There's Southern River Walk. There's Locals Dockside. There's a few good staple pieces in St. Marys for restaurants. And then you have Kraken Coffee, which is such a staple in my life. The best coffee, truly, and the best food and the best dessert. So you can't really go wrong. And it's a great place to work. So if you're looking for like a work away from home place or just to get out of the house, definitely check out Kraken Coffee. But St. Marys, such a small town vibe, super beautiful. It's like almost like a mini Savannah. Think of it like that. And the way it looks visually, and it does have historic homes there as well. So that is downtown St. Marys. You can also access Cumberland Island, which is a small island off of St. Marys, Georgia area, and they have wild horses there, and it's just a super secluded, private southern island, I guess to call it, that a lot of people like to take day trips there. Also, with easy access to 95, you can go north and hit Savannah really quickly, about an hour and a half, and Brunswick is right around the corner, as well as you can go south a little bit and check out Fernandina Beach, which has great nightlife and amazing restaurants. So that's about 45 minutes away. You have Yulee. A lot of people work there and like to travel there because the closest Target is about 20 minutes away inside of Yulee. But it's not that big of a deal, honestly. I think that they're going to end up putting a Target eventually here in Camden County. So that's St. Marys, Georgia. We have Kingsland, Georgia, that has a very large strip where pretty much any chain restaurant that you could think of is there. We're actually having a Texas Roadhouse being built right now, and hopefully it opens up within the next month. So by the time you move here, we'll have a Texas Roadhouse. You've never eaten at Texas Roadhouse, like the bread and the steaks, and it's so affordable. It's so good. It's honestly one of my favorite steakhouses, and it's so cheap. Pros and cons, of course, is that we don't have tons of local small restaurants. We have some that are great, but I would love to have seen a good handful of other local restaurants versus tons of chain restaurants that we have in Kingsland, Georgia. There is a Publix, there's a Planet Fitness, and a Walmart, and it's about an 8-minute drive from the Kings Bay Base. So it is nice that it has a small town vibe, but still has those major landmarks that are so important, at least for me, to be able to drive to in a small short notice. And of course, you have the Family Dollars that you can run into very quickly. There's plenty of them around here. The next thing I want to talk about is the small town vibes. So St. Marys and Kingsland definitely has those small town vibes. When you go into Walmart, you're gonna see people you know. And sometimes it's unfortunate because you just want to go in and out, but it is what it is. I'm used to living in Jacksonville where you have like 4 different Walmarts to choose from in a 20-minute radius, maybe plenty more than that. And so you don't run into people you know usually. And I am born and raised in Jacksonville, so I know a lot of people there. I do miss that, honestly. Sometimes you just want to be in your zone and leave and do your business and go home and not have to chat with people. But, you know, the socialite in me also genuinely loves it too sometimes, so. A con, I would say, is that there isn't a whole lot of nightlife here, but there's enough. We're not huge going out people. Like, we probably do it like twice a month if I had to put a number on it. And sometimes we do stay in town. There's a couple places like Cumberland Breeze. It's attached to a hotel, but they have pool tables and karaoke, and it's kind of a chill hangout spot. Definitely like a local chill hangout spot. And then there's Southern Riverwalk. They have pool tables, games, and DJs. So it's pretty chill. For the most part, it's a good time. If you want to have a couple drinks out and not go too far from home, there are options for you. It's just not like big club, like super busy nightlife. If you're looking for more busier nightlife, just go into Amelia Island and you should check out the Palace, and that place is wicked fun if you're looking for nightlife. So it's about 45 minutes away because the island is pretty deep into Yulee, but definitely worth it. Super fun. There's also a place called Sadler's, which is a country music bar. They do line dancing, and it's pretty unique because the only other one in Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, like vicinity is all the way in Middleburg, which is really far south. So it's cool to have Sadler's really close if you're interested in country music also. All right, so that was number 2. Number 3 is housing and cost of living. The homes are still more affordable than Northeast Florida and Jacksonville. So that is a plus, that you do get some of that small town pricing, which is really great. Because St. Marys and Kingsland is such a transient town because of the military base, I'd say that there's tons of inventory all the time. People ask me when they're looking for rentals or whatever it is, when they're about to move to Camden County, they're like, how soon should we look? Or should we be worried about what inventory is going to be out there? And I'm like, no, there's plenty now. There'll be plenty then. And as a buyer, you have a lot of leeway to ask for seller closing costs and a few other things when you're negotiating a contract. So that is big pluses. So pros and cons about St. Marys and Kingsland. I think their pros, and I love and welcome it, is that they are exploding new construction in Kingsland and St. Marys. Ever since I've even been here less than a year, they are blowing it up with roads you drove down that had just trees for miles. They're being built into master communities and new construction communities. Hopefully it'll bring new people to the area and just continue building equity for those that already occupy St. Marys and Kingsland. But if you are looking for older homes also, you definitely have the opportunity to check out historic homes, homes built in the 50s and 60s, homes built in the 90s. There's tons of opportunity for everybody, whatever your style is. If you like a little bit more charm with the older homes, or if you like brand new construction, there's tons of it on both sides. There's also opportunities with no HOAs, whatever you're interested in, there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Number 4 is lifestyle and outside, things to do. I will say that this is a con for myself for Camden County because there's not a ton to do, but You could drive to Jacksonville, which is what we often end up doing because I'm very familiar with Jacksonville, being born and raised there. But Camden County's working on it. I'll give them props. They're working on it. There's really cool places in Camden County, and then they're also making a really big place that will have a trampoline park, which is really nice because I feel like there's not a lot of things to do inside for kids down here. However, you can always drive to Jacksonville, which is like a 30-45 minute drive. So you still do have options. However, for outside, they have plenty of beautiful parks, tons of playgrounds, and disc golf. That is one thing that they are really good at here, is having beautiful outside options to do. I will say, being along the St. Marys River, I wish that there was more like river activities, but there isn't. So hopefully that changes in the next few years, but that is for St. Mary's. Being right on the water, I just like see the water. I'm like, I want to get in that water, but I know it's probably not the best thing to do. Lifestyle wise, I'll say it's definitely a much slower pace. Being from Jacksonville and the suburbs of Jacksonville, I mean, I'm used to busy streets, traffic. In St. Mary's and Kingsland, the only traffic you're really going to expect is if you're driving to Jacksonville or driving home from Jacksonville on 95. Sometimes it gets shut down because of accidents. So that's really like the biggest piece, I'd say, for that. However, in St. Mary's and Kingsland, you have so much more of that small town, slow it down vibes, much slower pace than a lot of bigger cities. So if you're looking for a super slow pace, you can go to Woodbine or Waverly. But if you're looking for, you don't have to drive 15 minutes to a grocery store, more than 15 minutes to a grocery store, I'd say stick to Kingsland and St. Mary's. I will say in downtown St. Mary's, also with outside, you do have tons of fishing docks. Number 5, the Camden County Entertainment, I'd say, is pretty good. There's actually Facebook pages called like Camden County Rants and Raves, and it's a mix of small town vibes of like, why the heck are you posting about this? And a mix of like entertainment gold. So definitely check it out. If you move to Camden County, you have to join that Facebook page. And I'll say the pros of that Facebook page is that if there's a place that's being built, you can go on there and there's probably going to be somebody that knows the answer to it. So before Texas Roadhouse was figured out that it was a Texas Roadhouse, everyone was, gosh, there were so many posts that were like, what's going here? What's going here? What's going here? And everyone, eventually caught on that it was a Texas Roadhouse. So it's really cool to get information and stay on the inside scoop of things if you want to join that Facebook page and have information, but also entertainment. And lastly, I have a Facebook page called the Camden County Gals. If you're going to be new here and you're one of the gals, you could join it, and we do fun events and meetups around here, going to local restaurants, taking walks, and going golfing, and a few things here and there. So definitely make sure you join that and make some new connections in the area. I'm super grateful that you took the time to sit with me and listen to all things Camden County. If you have any other questions, I'm Sadie, your local realtor, and I also live here, so you can text or call me. Actually text me and I will be the one to respond. If you have any questions, if you want to see homes, if you're PCSing to the area and you need a boots on the ground, transparent person who's going to tell you like it is, I'm your girl to call. I'm happy to help you. If you just want to see what the local area looks like, I'm happy to record videos of that. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. And I look forward to continuing being your Camden County expert. Bye.